I am living here now.
Sorry? We've spoken several times and you neglected to mention that you've moved back home.
I guess I just knew that it would bring up a lot for us.
When did you get here?
7, 8 weeks ago.
You've been here 2 months and you couldn't be bothered to let me know.
It's not that simple. We wanted to get settled first.
Who's we?
I've moved here with Max and Luna.
Your cats?
No, Mum. They're the man I'm seeing and his lovely daughter.
His lovely daughter.
Yep, what about it?
You keep insisting on raising other people's children. Mina, this Luna. If you want to be a mother so badly, have a baby. What happened to the egg freezing and all that?
My fertility treatments were not an easy experience.
They were not a cheap experience either. So much money, so many years. And you just gave up?
You wonder why I never tell you stuff, because when I do, your response is purely designed to hurt me.
I'll take...
She would call it constructive criticism, which absolutely doesn't make sense to me. Because how could that be constructive criticism if you didn't think about it before you say it? Even if she paid all that much money to do it, right? After something happens and you are denied but so many times, eventually some people give up. Not to say that they can't or they have to give up or they should give up, but when there's a definitive answer that you have to give up, what can you do then? And mind you, this is just a movie, but this situation does happen.
Tell you something. You get hurt that easily, maybe you're not cut out for motherhood. It's best you never know what it's like to have your child treat you like some errands they put off for months. I'm not a chore. I'm your mother. I gave up everything for you.
Real mother of the year material you are.
What's that?
Now, you're not wrong for loving your child, but she's grown. Like, technically you are a chore at that point. Not to say that I have to be rude to my parents, but you are a chore at that point. Thank you for bringing me here. If I can do more for you, I will gladly do that. But at the same time, if doing more for you makes me look bad and feel bad, I'm probably not going to do that. As a smart human that you probably raised, headstrong and all. Maybe I'm reading too far into it.
That's supposed to mean?
Ready for your wine, ladies?
Yes.
Mum, please, Max is going to be here any moment. I really want him to meet you.
Why should I wait for a man who can't be bothered to show up? I spent enough of my life doing it.
You never miss a trick, do you? Any opportunity to insult Baba.
I don't know why you still use that name for your father. Sweet little pet name for the man who walked out and left us.
You're a liar.
How dare you speak to me like that?
He didn't walk out the door. You drove him away.
This is how the memories of these moments get miscued, because somebody have been lying to themselves so much, and then somebody who has been there with them saw the truth, open up their eyes to whatever they thought they were seeing but they didn't see. Because remember, she was living it at that part. The mother was living it too, but she was actually living it. And then to have your own child open up your eyes knowing you have been bitter the whole time. Like, you had to have been bitter the whole time. But
remember, Mum, just stop. I remember him begging to stay. I remember him holding me. And I remember you ripping me out of his hands while you screamed at him to get out. And then you spent the next 30 years telling me that he abandoned us, that he's a racist, that he didn't love me. That lie shaped my entire future, my feelings towards kids, towards men. He called me on his deathbed, and I hung up on him. I will never have even an idea of a father because of you. So the next time you want to talk about Baba, I would love for you to try something. Try something at which you have very little practice. Shut up.
hey, look here, right? That's what happens when you don't allow somebody to make their choice and you make it for them and start to indoctrinate their head to feel like this is the way it's supposed to be when it isn't actually the way it's supposed to be. And then when you find out some type of truth that make you think about the situation, you technically feel like shit. But we're not going to talk about that until it's time. This other one going to be a little doozy, so let's go.
Don't trump the word of God. And I feel like in this election, everybody's feelings trump the word of God. So I mentioned that she was a witch, but she's also a transformer. She's also a chameleon, because I watched a woman transform into whatever her audience needed her to be in that moment. She became a Southern belle. Hey, Pastor, how you doing today, sir? I'm so glad to be here amongst the black folk. And I'm just so glad that, I just go back to my roots and watched her become a Mexican when she was around the Hispanics. All she needed was a sombrero, okay? And some tacos. And I like, come on. We watched this woman change and become a chameleon into whoever she needed to be in the moment. And that should have been a red flag for everybody because she had no identity. And I knew for sure
I mean, you could call it no identity. You call it whatever you want. That's what women think matching the energy is. In its purest form, what she was doing, what the women think matching the energy is. Not your fault. But that's definitely what you think matching the energy is. That's why she went out and was working with the energy that she had, right? Maybe some of them she built herself. But that's still definitely matching the energy. We're going to keep going.
For sure, if she had gotten to office, she would have been whoever they needed her to be in the moment, to be accepted in the moment by those people. She was a chameleon. She was not to be trusted. You have a woman that cheerleaded abortion as, I would say, about 98% of her healthcare campaign for the nation was abortion talk. We don't think anything is wrong with that. Well, Tiffany, that's the only thing you brought up for the campaign and being wrong with it. If murdering innocent babies was the only thing I ever brought up in life, is that not enough? Was that not important enough to not bring up? Because what I do know concerning a nation is, if covenants have been opened and if certain sacrifices have been made to certain deities, we've seen what happens. Famine happens, war happens, drought happens, sickness and plagues, pestilences and diseases happen. That's what happens when certain deities are sacrificed to. So I knew that this large trump for abortions was not just parading around women's rights, but there was a deity that needed to be filled. As far as Trump is concerned and God saying he's Cyrus, I don't have nothing to do with that. That's what God said. What I do know after studying a little bit about Cyrus is that he was a little bit unhinged like Trump. He was a live wire like Trump. And yet God used Cyrus to fulfill a prophetic word that Prophet Jeremiah gave 400 years prior to Cyrus even being born. You can find that in Ezra 1:1. So we don't know why God had used. Well, Tiffany, God can't use Kamala if she's a witch. God can use anybody, but why did he use Jezebel in Revelations 2:20? As a matter of fact, he said, the thing I have against the church is that she tolerated Jezebel. We just don't trump the word of God. And I feel like in this election, everybody's...
I really got not that much to say about this. Y'all tell me what y'all think in the comments. That'd be the best thing for me, at least. You know, I'm not well versed in the arts.